and welcome to Hazardous Hot Dogs. I'm your host, Freya. In this show, we're going to be going through this amazing book, Nathan's Hot Dog Cookbook, 150 hot dog recipes. I did earlier today find out that that is a complete lie. The hot dog recipes did not come numbered, so I went through to number them myself so I could keep track of which ones we had done on the show. It turns out that when you get to the end, there are only 131 recipes, so we should probably talk to the publisher from 1983. But we are going to be going through a lot of the recipes on here. A lot of them are great, a lot of them are awful, terrible, probably not edible. But today we are going to start our show with Florentine dog loaf. There is the recipe. It is pretty simple. I did have to make a couple changes to it. For starts, I'm only making a half recipe because I don't want to eat 8 hot dogs worth of Florentine hot dog loaf because it sounds pretty awful. But I did go ahead and prep all the ingredients, so I have them up here and ready, so it won't be a very long show. I'm going to put them all together, drop it in the oven, pause, come back. When it's done, we will try to eat it if it is in fact edible. So I've already preheated the oven. I cooked 1 cup of spinach, which I am to put into a loaf pan. So let me spray the loaf pan with some Pam real quick. If you are curious, I did use Dole spinach for this, and I cooked it in Terra del Visa olive oil, which I've never tried before, so let's hope it's good. It does say to put the spinach into a buttered or sprayed pan, so that is what I'm doing now. So it says to put 1 layer of spinach across the bottom of the loaf pan, so we're off to a good start. Let's even it out a little bit at the bottom there. Then in a separate bowl, combine your rice, soup, and milk. So with this, I have already pre-cooked 1 cup of rice. It does ask for a can of condensed soup. I am going to use half of one because, again, I don't want a full recipe of this. So let's go ahead and mix those up. And let me grab the milk out of the fridge. It does call for 1 tablespoon. I'm just going to add a splash. And again, the recipe calls for 1 whole can. We're just going to do half a can. That's about half. So Florentine dog loaf is mostly cheddar, rice, spinach, and hot dogs. You do bake it for 20 minutes and then remove and put more cheese on top. The recipe does also call for American cheese to be sprinkled on top, shredded, grated American cheese, but I do not have a cheese grater, so I have substituted it to pre-shredded cheddar cheese for convenience and cost. So this looks like it's getting mixed up pretty good. So it says to spoon that on top of the spinach. This does not look very appetizing at all. Also of note, I do have a dog in the house who may wander in and out of frame. I don't know if he has done that yet. I have not been keeping a good eye on him, but when I'm cooking in the kitchen, he's usually in here as well. Small little dog, his name is Charlie. He is very friendly, but occasionally may bark on the show too, and I do apologize for that. Alright, so we've got our cheddar rice concoction on top of the spinach at this point. I have, let's move those to the side. Let's consult the recipe. Now arrange the hot dogs on top. So I did, in fact, purchase all Nathan's hot dogs for now. So because the recipe is Nathan's hot dogs and because they're delicious, I did buy a large pack of the Nathan's all beef franks. So we are going to arrange 4 hot dogs on top of the loaf. I do not believe we covered the loaf, but let me double check real quick. We do not. So we just put it right in the oven like this for 20 minutes. So I'm going to do that, pause the show. Hi, and welcome back to Hazardous Hot Dogs. I guess you probably didn't go anywhere. I did. Alright, so it's about time to pull it out of the oven. I did have to sprinkle some cheese on about 5 minutes ago, but it's time to pull it out and check it out. Alright, so here we are. It does call to sprinkle parsley on when you get done cooking. So we're going to do that real quick, and then I'm probably going to let it cool off a little bit and then give it a try. Alright, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, and as you can see, Charlie has joined me because he can smell the food and now he wants some. I was trying to figure out the best way to get it out of the pan. I'm thinking hot dogs out with the tongs and then scoop the rest of it onto the plate. So that's what I'm going to do. It actually does not smell bad, which surprises me because this did not sound appetizing at all. But it may actually be okay, so let's give it a shot. It's still steaming, so maybe this is a terrible idea, but it's happening. Make sure I get some of all the flavors in there with the first bite. Oh, lost the rice. Hold on. Alright. So it's not terrible. Shocking. Yeah, I would actually eat this. I'm probably going to eat this entire thing. Again, I didn't expect to like it, so maybe not everything in this book is terrible. I mean, not everything's terrible, but like a lot of it probably is. Alright, well thank you for joining me on today's edition of Hazardous Hot Dogs. Sorry to disappoint, this is actually delicious. And now for the portion you've probably actually been waiting for. It's Charlie's turn to try our concoctions. And for those of you that were worried, I did take the spinach out of his section because spinach is not good for dogs, or at least some dogs. But he seems to like it as well. So that's our episode of Hazardous Hot Dogs signing off. Have a good day.